Okay. All right. So, all right. Welcome back again to the Mockingbird Talk Show with Simon. For this episode, we will start with our main theme. How does the book To Kill a Mockingbird reflect the societal problems in the U.S. 20th century? Again, we're honored to have professional historian Mr. Toby to discuss that period of history. First, I want to ask Mr. Toby, what do you think about To Kill a Mockingbird, and why this book is one of the classic, still really famous in modern day America?
Well, To Kill a Mockingbird is definitely one of the classic American literature because this book authority- authoritatively reflects the life and culture practices in the southern rural town during the Depression era, where racial discrimination severely inflicted the life of African Americans. One unique thing about this book, I believe, is that the author used the innocence of a child's point of view to criticize the severe racial discrimination. By doing this, the author allows the reader to easily develop a picture about characters and social environments in town. Furthermore, a child's innocent perspective can effectively highlight the evil in the society and kind of force the reader to consider and ponder about the discrimination itself.
That's amazing. May you introduce the background of the novel and its essential characters to us?
Of course. The whole novel was written in a young girl's perspective named Skull. She has a brother Jim and a father called Atticus, a lawyer of Macomb, which is the town of the in the book. The first part of the novel is Scout's view of the town. She talks about what this fictional southern town looked like and her fun childhood time with his brother and his friend Deal. As she grows up, she starts to encounter more people and things, and many social issues are gradually revealed to her.
Yes, I remember that the first several chapters reveal how many thousand farmers um, were poor and are really suffered in the Great Depression. I think Scott got into a small trouble with her teacher, Miss Caroline, even in the first day of school. And she also had a fight with her classmate, Walter Cunningham. Did you still remember that? Could you explain this event to us?
Well, yeah, the conflict reflected the condition of many farmers badly hit by the depression. I think that the whole thing was actually caused by Miss Caroline, but because she came from a relatively rich place in North Alabama, and when she saw that Walter Cunningham did not bring his lunch, she assumed that he forgot his lunch. The Cunningham family was too poor to provide lunch for him, though, which is a reality.
It must be really embarrassing for Walter to be directly asked by Caroline in front of the whole class. I really feel sorry for him because, he later he was even beaten up by Scott, and it wasn't really his fault. He was just a really poor guy, and he was embarrassed, and he was beaten up. His poverty really makes him suffer from the embarrassment. What do you think about Mr. Boo Radley, though? What is his role in this book?
Well, Boo is the target of people's gossip, and there are many terrible rumors about him. People say that he's a monster whose breath can even kill flowers, and people say that he stabs a scissor into his father's leg. These are definitely not true, and I believe that the reason behind is that he has a different life than others. He does not leave his house, and people cannot see him. To others, he is mysterious. And you agree that people love to gossip about someone different than everybody else?
I definitely agree. I feel like just it's really natural for people to repel and judge other people who are different, especially on our social media. We can comment whatever we want. We often judge others, and we suffer no severe consequences because everything is online. However, the person being judged for being um, ridiculed on the social media could be deeply hurt and become the victim of people's tyranny. What do you think of Atticus, though? Is he being a good father in your eyes? Is he teaching his children in the right way?
I believe so. Atticus is a great model for his children. He is an authoritarian parent. He respected his children and made promises with them instead of just demanding them to do something and punishing them. In chapter 4, when Atticus caught his children playing the game book, a two book of one man's family, which they invested based on the rumors of Boo Rally, he immediately stopped them. However, he did not violently force his children to stop. Instead, he poked questions at them to make them feel ashamed and stop it right there. This is a great way to educate children.
To be honest, for a moment, I think this book is an instruction for raising children. Because, however, I'm really curious about the content of the book itself. You mentioned that this book's main theme is about racial discrimination. However, in the first several chapters, the book rarely mentions anything about discrimination toward Black. It's pretty much about how Atticus teaches his children to, gradually accommodate the society. His father is really being a great model for him, for his children. So that's why I think it's a book of education. So why does the book does not just go straight into the conflict centered around Tom Robinson?
Well, I believe that the first several chapters are also important because it sets up a general background for a typical Southern town's culture, and it builds up many characters such as Atticus, Aunt Alexandra, Cunningham family, Edwell family, and it is with all of these elements, the stories are able to develop very smoothly, and the readers can relate to the stories as they process with their readings.
I cannot really wait to discuss with you the next several parts of the story. But today, time is almost up. So in the next episode, we'll keep discussing what does the novel try to reflect about racism in 1930s. And again, thank you very much, Mr. Toby. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you, Mr. Simon, and we'll see you next time.